Yo, welcome everybody to ACTV. We got Reddit stories. Today we got something crazy for y'all. Well, it's not too crazy, but a lot of men deal with this, and I'm sure some of y'all can guess what it is. So y'all can tell by the title, but let's get into it. There may be some actual updates to this. Uh, it says, "Am I the butthole for not wanting a relationship with the girl I raised as my daughter?" Man, how many of y'all been out stepfathering and y'all did it for a couple of years. She get 18, and all of a sudden something crazy. Kids be acting crazy nowadays. But let's get into it. So I, 42 male, had a daughter now 18 female. She tried my I tried my best, but it wasn't an easy relationship. I found out when she was 12, her long-term stepdad was actually her biological father. Wow. I didn't pre-read this, so that's a twist I didn't even know about. He lived with her and my ex for a few years. I also found out my daughter knew he was her biological father. Oh my god. For a few years at that point too. Her, my ex, and the stepdad knew, but never told me anything. So I challenged the courts and they stopped my maintenance. I'm assuming that has to be child support. So I don't know where this guy's from, but maintenance? I haven't heard that term. Because that happened, she didn't want a relationship with me. And then a couple of years later, her bio dad got parental responsibility for her, and we parted ways. I haven't had contact with her for a few years, but later now. But she's why do you write it like that? I haven't had contact with her for a few years later. Now she's had a relationship with family members. Recently, my mom sadly died, and my dad invited her to the funeral. Despite not seeing her for a good 5 years or so, I hugged her and gave her a kiss. I exchanged pleasantries and thought that was it. I was just trying to be cordial. I received a really long message from her on my social media saying how much the meeting meant to her and she wanted to meet up again. That she missed me and regretted the way things went and wanted to reconnect. I've ignored it because I feel so hurt still. My dad disagrees. He said he thinks she's still like a granddaughter to him and should meet her. I've ignored them so far. So, am I the butthole for not wanting a relationship? The first comment says, with 4.5 thousand likes, he says, from Fairlight99, I rarely comment on forums like this, but I want to bring a bit of compassion to this. OP, you're hurting. You've just buried your mom, and mate, that hurts. I can't say I understand the breadth of your pain, but I can try to imagine. You're drowning, mate, and I feel that you're resentful of the world for taking the person that cared about you the most from this world. You need support, and this isn't where you get that. Please get yourself into some grief support groups or contact a professional. I know you have said it's been crap in the past, but please give it another try. Can it make it worse? As for the kid, I don't think it's the right time for you to think about it. You're not in the right headspace to handle the resentment you feel towards her and her parents while handling the resentment you feel towards the world. But I hope you'll consider at least hearing her out when you're in a position to do so. For now, let her know that you're working on yourself and you'll contact her when you're ready. You will be okay, OP, but tough love time. You also need to want to be happy and to want to thrive. That's going to be hard right now, but that's the approach you need to have. Please consider getting support and push to thrive. I want you to thrive, OP. Now, this comment is saying a lot. And low key, I agree. It's not the right time. Heck, if it was me, it would never be the right time. But there's no harm in hearing them out to see what it is they got going on. They were quite a bit young at the time, and a pain like that is something only one who goes through that can understand. I personally haven't went through that, so maybe, but I wouldn't. The next one says from Lukey, another 10,000 liked on this comment. Not the asshole, but based on your responses, I think you could benefit from therapy, respectfully. And another one from Dave Bobay 13. As a father of kids with complicated backgrounds, I would say this: don't hold the actions of a child or a teenager against them. If a young person reaches out to you seeking a relationship, do what you can to be there for them. Lots of kids get groomed or twisted by the adults they live with, and teenagers have a lot of trouble figuring out who they are. Life is very hard, and it is even harder for young adults with complicated childhoods. Those young people need all the support we can provide them. Uh, I agree. That's very true. And at 14, if I remember back to when I was 14, yeah, I can agree with that. You know, they do. Probably should give them like more credence and, or that's not the word I'm looking for. You should give them more leeway because they are children, you know, at that age. But some pain like that, just some people just probably just can't handle it, and they, you know, they may not want to go back to that because you never know. Another one says realistic Seesaw 7788. Yeah, she was a kid. I think OP should give her some grace. She was coping with a bunch of dysfunctional idiots, mom and bio dad while she was a teenager. Not easy age for anyone. We don't make the best decisions even when our situation is normal, and her situation was definitely not. I don't blame OP for feeling hurt, of course. That's understandable, but I hope he affords her some mercy. She was a victim of all the crap that went down, too. Yeah, I agree to an extent. So, I guess we'll see let's see if there's an update. Scrolling through here. I don't think there's an update. Yeah, there's no update to this. So let's just move on to the next story. If you out there at work, if you out there on your way to work, or you just chilling this on your break, thank you for sitting here with us. Hopefully we could provide you some entertainment to bring you some happiness to your day. And let's see here. I saw one that was really dope. Hold on. I think a lot of people can. Let me find it. Oh, this one. This is one someone can always. Am I the butthole for congratulating my family on losing me and keeping my cheating ex-girlfriend? Now, if you ain't dated someone before and your family loved it and y'all broke up and the family still, man, I got a friend who was dating this chick for a minute, and you know, the family still rock with her even after he married someone else. So hey, some people just don't let other relationships come in between them. I don't know. But let's get into this. I, 23 male, dated Hannah, 23 female, for 7 years. It was about the same amount of time, too, for them. It says, I loved her and we lived together for 3.5 years when I found out she was cheating on me. It wasn't one time or one person either. Yuck. She had been cheating for years, and there were 3 guys that I knew about. One of them got her pregnant and then dumped her, by which is the only reason I found out she was cheating. Oh my goodness. And why did she cheat? She didn't want to be with me anymore, but didn't want to lose my family because they treated her better than her own family treated her. Facepalm. What is going on in the world today? People are so selfish. Even before we started dating, she loved my family, and now I question if she dated me to have my family in her life more. I ended things with Hannah as soon as I found out about the other guys, and she admitted to several years and this guy needs to go to therapy. This guy needs to go to therapy. Hey, big dog, I'm sorry this happened to you. Where's that though? Whether that's the whole truth, I won't even know. At first, I thought my family would be on my side and would cut her off and be there for me. But after 6 weeks, I discovered my mom and sister were talking to Hannah every day and checking on her. Disgusting. That's betrayal. Especially after they found out what she did? Hell nah. Then Hannah was invited back over to my parents' house for dinner, and my sister and her kept up girls' days they did when Hannah and I were together. Yeah, nah, bro. We not family no more. I'm out. I'm out. You know she cheated on me, never told me, and then y'all want to still be around her? Yo, we not family. I don't care what was what. You, the fact that you don't can't. Did y'all even love me for real? Y'all love this person over me, who's been with you forever? Just no loyalty in these days. So I talked to my family about it, and they told me they couldn't let Hannah go because she was a part of our family for so long. We argued about it, and I told them I was hurt that they would stand by her. They asked me to consider how alone she was and how much they loved her. They insisted on including her in the family. I told them they couldn't have both of us and stopped showing up to family functions or dinners and refused to hang out. Good job, my boy. You stand up for yourself. A part of me hoped it would make them apologize and kick her to the curb, but it didn't. So I made the choice to disown my family, and I blocked them on social media and my phone. Before I took that step, I went and I got some stuff I had at my parents' house. I told them and two of my siblings what was going to happen, and they accused me of overreacting and throwing a toddler's tantrum. Then they said I was worse than a toddler because I wanted to hurt them. I told them it wasn't about hurting them, but about their lack of consideration for me as their brother and son. I followed it up by congratulating them on losing me and keeping Hannah, and I threw in a comment about how they cared more about that than me. They kept saying I was unfair and I was behaving like a little boy instead of a grown man, and I should be able to use conflict resolution instead of petulant behavior. I ignored it all and blocked them like I said above. But there were more messages from them in between where they made it very clear that they were unhappy and felt I was being a brat. Of course they were. It seems like they all have the same thing in common. Selfish, delusional, careless. I don't know if my congratulating them and the comment about them caring more about Hannah than me was super childish and petulant, or whether I'm justified saying it. Let me tell you right now, my brother. It wasn't childish or petulant. You were letting them know what it was. You were letting them know what it was, and they should have took the time to understand what you were saying, my boy. It's they lost. He said, I want to believe I'm not being a butthole, but maybe I am. And maybe I'm acting immaturely in reaction to them keeping Hannah in the family. Am I the butthole? No, bro. You're not the butthole. As soon as they found out what she did, it should have been axed. Finito. Done. But loyalty is not something you can make. It's just got to be in you, I guess. He's got an update. He says, my whole family is choosing Hannah. I wanted to make it clear that this just isn't my mom and my sister who I mentioned specifically, but my whole family. Dad, brothers, and my other sisters. You don't need them, bro. Kick them to the curb. Go do you. Go be great. And they gonna wish they never chose that broad over you. They gonna wish. And you know what? Don't ever let them come back. Ever. You told them what it was, and they didn't care at all. Kick them to the curb. The first comment, Nasi Kaladas, I don't know what that was, and I agree with this one wholeheartedly. And whenever you have milestones, you get married, you have kids, a new house, they'll find out and reach out, and you don't tell them nothing. You don't give them the satisfaction. Just ask them how the ex is doing. As a matter of fact, cut contact with these. You already cut. Never return. They couldn't be more disrespectful, more unloyal. If it's anything I hate more than anything, it's unloyal people. Never. How could they do this to their own son? Hey, that's all I got for y'all today. I'm going to catch y'all again with some more stories. Hit that like button, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.